welcome all you business owners to a discussion of our blog. The purpose of the blog was to give some advice as to, now that you have survived the pandemic and you're ready for reopening, these ideas might help you. Obviously, you can't do all of them at the same time, but maybe you can think about them. You know, those loyal employees that helped you through the pandemic, they're a wonderful source of imagination and creativity. So you didn't go it alone to get to reopen and continue your involvement of your employees. I have two wonderful, bright, and imaginative folks, Rahu and Reza, who are going to pepper me with questions about what I wrote. I hope this gives you some insight into my thinking and makes you feel like, hey, this is just not somebody who copied something from the internet. This is a person who has years of experience in helping businesses grow. And I truly understand, as our business is working to reemerge from the pandemic, just like yours is. I'll leave it to the team to decide who's going first, but I hope you enjoy this conversation.
Thank you, Brenda, for introducing us. Lisa, you can go first.
Okay, so here's my first question for you, Brenda. I shut down my business due to pandemic. How can I revamp my business?
Well, if you survived up until now, you probably have already done a lot of adaptations. My suggestion is that you focus on your customers. Those are the people who keep you in business. What's happened to them? What's different? Do they still feel the same way about you? Did you stay in touch with them while you were not able to serve them? As you adapted, did you keep them up to date as to what you changed, how you're thinking differently? To reopen, are you coming up with new products or new services? It's hard to know what customers are thinking, but fortunately, you have lots of data to find out. You can send out a survey and find out what they're thinking. You can look on their social media sites where they're talking and find out what they're thinking. The most important thing is to maintain your loyal customers and see if you can find some new ones. And I can tell you from 40 years of experience, the best people to tell people about your business are your customers. Ask them for referrals. Offer them discounts for referrals. And if you can bundle your products or services in such a way that it would make it more appealing, try that. You are a survivor. That means that you understand you had to adapt and change. So you can keep going, grow your company, and see yourself in a better place than you are today. Rahu?
Yeah, Brenda, I had a question related to this same question. So, for example, I had ups and downs with my business during COVID or other crises that have been going on. So the thing is that there are revenue problems, but apart from that, there are chances that we might have to shift or say business strategy to gain our customers. What would you say? Should we follow a different strategy from our pre-COVID or pre-crisis strategies? Because pre-COVID and pre-crisis, we were doing good.
Well, my
So-
suggestion is back to the customers. Ask your customers, what do they think they would be buying from you in the future? If they say, hey, bring back those things we loved, then you're in great shape. But if they say, hey, I moved on to Riz's product, you know, it was nice, but you didn't adapt and I didn't hear from you. Whatever mistake you made, you can fix because you have your customers' data. You have their emails. You know what social media platforms they're on. Try and get them back by offering discounts. Give them special status. Loyal customers. You know, make sure that they feel they're wanted. Because even if somebody got your customers, you can say, I want you back. You can have a nice message that says, I want you back. And you lay out what you're willing to do. Yes, revenues are not the same pre-COVID. We all know that. But we know that we are capable of finding out what customers want, delivering what the customers are looking for, and just continuing to monitor. Now, maybe you didn't do that before, but it's totally necessary for you to do that now. The customers are the key to your success. And once they're happy, they'll start talking about you on social media. And you can reward them for talking about you on social media. If you need to make a change, then find out, why did they go to Riza? What did Riza offer that you weren't offering? And figure out a way to offer it, but with the Rahu spin. Just something that makes what you're doing just a little different than your competition. Always think about how to personalize what you're doing. I'm doing it for you. I'm making changes because I heard you. Consistently send those messages to your customers so that they know you want them, they're important to you, and you're listening. Those are the 3 important ways in which to make sure you have business and you have a growth toward your pre-pandemic levels. Riza?
Yes, Brenda, since I asked you a while ago, how can I revamp my business? This is related to that question. So what approach do you want me to follow when it comes to holding on to my cash?
Well, our suggestion is that first you figure out how much cash do you need based upon today's level of expenses and what revenue is coming in. How much cash do you need to get through the next 3 months? Because that 3 months is the threshold for whether you have a viable business or you don't. Now, if it turns out that you don't have 3 months worth of cash, then you can do one of 2 things. You can decide, what expenses can I defer? What expenses can I negotiate down? How can I move those expenses out and maximize my revenue? If you have a bestseller that has been a bestseller through the pandemic, then maybe lowering the price just a bit might help the volume to give you that cash that will keep you going over here to your 3 months. Do you have lines of credit? If you have not missed any payments and your relationship with your banker is solid, then I would say, call them up, because you can get the lowest rates right now for credit And banks are really looking for people to give money to. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it's true. Banks are just same way as you. What happened to the people that used to keep us going? People aren't spending money. People are holding on to money. I make money from credit. Who can I give credit to? Say you'll help them out. If you have credit cards, see if they will expand the limits, but make sure you don't get yourself into trouble. Have a good projection of your P&L for these 3 months. Making sure that if you don't have the cash, then you're going to use credit where you need to, defer your payments where you can, and try and figure out, if I have some revenue and it was selling, how can I sell more of what is selling? Then the other point is that if you're a manufacturer or a retailer, can you sell off your inventory? Who would be interested in what you have too much of or can't sell? But the most important thing is you focus on, how do I sustain my business? And cash is the king. You have to have money to be able to sustain your business. We invite you to subscribe to our blog. Go to our website, AccuComp Enterprises.com. There you will find previous blogs. This is the first in a continuing series where we're going to try and make the blogs feel alive. We appreciate your time and attention. Plan, adapt, and succeed. That's our tagline for our blog.